What is going on, you guys? Welcome back to the channel. Back with another video. This is a DJI Osmo Action 6 in-depth review of the setup, settings, and a test ride as well. And I'm making this video because till this day I have comments from all the way back from the Action 4, people asking me about my setup, about my color grading, and the settings of my camera. So I figured I want to do an in-depth video talking about all these details, and I'm saying every single one. And I haven't seen a video on YouTube like that specifically for motovlogging. I've been doing this for about 5 years now. Finally found a setup that I prefer and that gives me the best quality. First things first, let's talk about the settings of the DJI Osmo Action 6. Now, you guys have probably seen me do reviews of this camera before in stock settings, but if you want to take your footage to the next level, then these are the settings that you should be using. We'll go to your basic settings, which are the resolution and the frames per second. I shoot at 4K 60 frames per second. I do that primarily because I actually take screenshots for my thumbnails. But for most of the time, if you're trying to motovlog or use other stuff, I recommend shooting at 30 frames per second. It's going to take a lot less storage and it'll save your battery life as well. But if you think you're going to be slowing things down and taking screenshots like I do, then I recommend 60 frames per second, or you could go higher, but I don't recommend going higher simply for storage and battery life. Besides that, for stabilization, I like to run rock steady plus, and if you notice, all the other ones kind of take away a little bit from your wide angle, which is why I like to rock the rock steady, because that way I'll get a wider angle, which you guys can see I go to the widest angle. We go back to the more detailed settings, which are right here. First things first, you want to click on the top right here on Pro to unlock all the other settings like you see here. Exposure, first things first, I would like to run it on auto. This is actually a little too high. I don't think I've adjusted this. Usually I would like it somewhere around there, or maybe even here. Typically here I would go for negative 0.3. I like it to look a little bit darker. I don't like overexposed shots. It just gives it a little bit more of a cinematic look. So it's funny because I guess I never got to adjust these because this is a new camera, but these are my usual settings. For the white balance, I like to keep it at 55. It's the temperature essentially of your footage. You can put on auto, but auto usually runs it in around the 1600s. Let's test out. Oh, it actually has that 54 right now, which is what I prefer usually. So, you know, it's around the same, but I just would like to stay at this. And that leads me to the next one, which is the color. I shoot in D-Log M 10-bit. The Osmo 6 offers color recovery, which is a pretty sweet option. You guys can see, very different. This is very flat. This is with colors. So again, you could opt out for this option if you want like high contrast and you don't want to do color grading while keeping pretty high quality footage still. I personally like to choose the colors and, you know, the warmth and temperature and all that. Therefore, everything is kind of on manual, more raw settings. I have not messed with the variable aperture. I think I'm just keeping it at the stock settings simply because I don't have enough knowledge to know what I should be doing with that. Stabilization is in sport, not daily, because obviously we are doing sport activities, aka riding really fast motorcycles. And finally, image adjustment. I like to have both on minimal. You could go -2, but I wouldn't mind a little bit of touch-ups from the camera itself, but most of that I try to do post-production as well. Now after that, we go to the audio. It's on stereo and standard. Now I do attach a mic right here to my camera setup, and I have the gain adjusted to -10 or -8 because I'm doing something that is extremely loud. I'm also kind of yelling in the helmet, so I don't want it to peak as much and distort the audio. But because we changed some of my exposure settings, I'm actually going to save it as a profile, which is right here. And as you guys can see, I already have one saved, but we're going to make another one because this one has the new adjustments that we made. Confirm, and now we have it here as a preset. So now you can switch directly to it and start filming right away. Now that we discussed all my settings, let me know down in the comments below if you guys want to know anything else about my settings. I would also set the bitrate to high, not standard. That's another thing that I forgot to mention to you guys. Besides that, these are all my settings, and now let's get to the actual helmet setup. Now you can set up your helmet in many different ways, but I have found that this is the most effective, lightweight, and compact setup for me to use. There's actually one thing that I could adjust, which is actually using one of these DJI wireless mics. You can actually connect 2 of these wireless DJI mics directly to your camera. That way you don't even have to deal with these cables and stuff like that. The main reason I still use a DJI lav mic as well as a little mic adapter that we'll talk about in a second is because of convenience. I personally like to have my camera here, click record, and I want the audio to be connected as synced and all that, and everything works perfectly. Plus, inside the helmet, the lav mics are a little bit smaller than, of course, the wireless mics, which is why I still go with the old school lav mics, which I'm so glad that DJI also makes. Now, for the details about this setup, it's actually very simple. I have a little chin mount right here, which is the device that you need to attach directly to your camera. I personally use just one singular clamp and one mini arm. That way it creates just enough distance for me to actually put my finger through, pop over my visor, and have a very compact setup. And finally, for what holds my camera is the Osmo 360 magnetic mount right here. As you guys can see, it's not only magnetic but also has these really secure clamps. All you have to do with the magnetic mount is simply, as you can see, it pulls it right away, and then boom. And now it's secure, and you can safely do triple digits on a close course done by trained professionals without worrying about your setup. After that, I have some accessories such as an ND filter right here that you can simply pop off, also from DJI. I personally use an ND16, but again, that's preference based on your setting and your post-production preferences. And last but not least, the two things that I already talked about briefly is a universal adapter right here, which simply switches your audio jack directly to a Type-C, which you can connect to the side of your action camera. And for the last piece, so you guys can see right here, I have the wire tucked right behind here, and then the mic itself tucked behind my cheek pad, as you can see right here. I also have a dead cat in there, which helps with wind noise. This is my full motovlogging setup and my settings as well. Now, you guys are able to replicate this step by step, literally to a T, and go out, ride, and get the same quality as me with your preference of post-production color grading. I'd like you guys to see the difference between me using the DJI mic versus directly recording audio from the camera, phone, or whatever you're using to record audio. I think it's a huge difference. I mean, obviously I've yet to see it in post-production, but I've used this mic before, and it is very professional and it sounds amazing. Also, I hope you guys don't mind the kind of scenic background view. I'm still in the process of moving and getting a new garage, or potentially a warehouse, and having a new setup with all my bikes. So for the OGs of the channel, that will be coming hopefully soon, fingers crossed. It's yeah, moving is not easy, especially when you have a garage full of motorcycles.
And now we are on the bike filming with the exact same settings and setup that you guys just saw. Again, this is one of my first rides still. I've probably gone on maybe 5 rides ever since I moved to Vegas, so I don't even know where I'm going, but we're just going on a ride. That's all I know. The cool thing about Vegas is that even in January it's like 70 something degrees and it's beautiful outside. Anyways, while you guys are enjoying the beautiful scenery with the Osmo Action 6, I'd like to talk about some of the features just rapid fire real quick, because again, this is a helmet setup video, but I'd also like to tell you guys while you're enjoying this about some of the good stuff about this camera. Sorry, I feel like I'm still getting used to riding in a new environment, and it definitely catches me off guard sometimes, because you see stuff here in Vegas that you don't see back in California. California is a lot more chill. So some of the first things I would like to talk about the new Osmo Action 6 is the fact that it has the industry's first variable aperture. And I know when I told you guys about the settings, why I'm not messing with the settings of the aperture is because I don't understand too much of it, although I do know the general concept and what it does. Variable aperture simply helps you in low light environments. It just gives you better imaging quality when it's not as bright, or if you're filming in more dim areas. And the Osmo Action 6 is the first camera that has variable aperture in the industry. Not only that, but it also has a bigger square sensor that's 1/1.1, improving the filming, the quality, and how much you can customize sorry, I had to make a quick detour, and how much you can customize your aspect ratios. Because it's a square sensor, you can actually switch to vertical, horizontal, or wherever you'd like a lot easier. You just have a lot more flexibility with the new square sensor. Battery life is one of the first things that I want to talk about with the DJI action cameras. They are phenomenal. I used to complain in my OG vlogging days when I first started about how I always run out of battery, and you guys sometimes complain about it because you're like, why don't you carry around extra batteries with you? It's simply because I don't like wearing a lot of stuff when I'm riding, and I've tried putting batteries in my pockets that have actually gone flying, which also could be not only dangerous, but you know, then there's no use for that. So I like that simply I don't have to switch camera, you know, it'll never shut on me. The reliability aspect of it, it's just a camera that I can trust and that is easy to use. Another really cool feature about the DJI, not specifically just the action camera, but all of the DJI products, is their ecosystem. They have a phenomenal ecosystem offering you guys a wide variety of stuff you can do and interchangeability between a lot of their products if you have multiple of their products, like myself. What is going on here? We have a fleet of these new taxi cubicles. So talking about the ecosystem, there's a lot of benefits for the ecosystem. First and foremost, again, going back to the batteries, if you have the Osmo 360, if you have the Action 6 or even the Action 5, or I believe even the Action 4s, most of their newer products are compatible when it comes to the battery. You can switch using the same battery for any of your cameras. Not only that, but also a lot of them are also compatible with the magnetic mounts. So let's say you have a magnetic mount, you already have a setup, they come out with a new camera, just like myself. Whenever I switch, I don't have to switch up my whole setup. Like I was saying, you can simply switch your camera from one mount to the other. Most of the mounts are compatible, therefore allowing you just super easy flexibility. I can go home, grab my 360 camera for a different type of shooting, mount it on the same setup that I have on right now, using the same batteries as well, and everything is going to be compatible. But that's not the only part about their ecosystem that is awesome. Another thing is, like I mentioned before, is the DJI mics. You have the DJI wireless mics for more flexibility in different types of shooting. If you, let's say you're shooting with someone else and you want to give them one of the mics while keeping for yourself one of the mics, or I can have one in the helmet like I said, and another one by the exhaust for a more raw sound experience. All of that is made possible because they have a ton of products that integrate with each other, allowing you just a seamless, easy experience. And with that being said, I think we've covered most of my favorite features about the DJI action cameras, specifically the DJI Osmo Action 6, and also showed you guys a very, very in-depth, detailed video. And now you guys can go out, replicate this setup like I've showed you guys, and you can film just like me, someone that has done a ton of trial and error throughout the 5 years of motovlogging. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace out and ride safe.